You paid off the pressing debts, stabilized your work schedule, and finally eliminated the daily chaos that defined your younger years. From the outside, your life looks like a quiet victory. You sit in a kitchen on a Sunday evening, looking at a calm calendar with no fires to put out. It feels like a well-earned reward. Yet beneath that pleasant predictability, a silent change takes hold. When you stop asking your mind and spirit to carry heavy loads, those hard-won capabilities do not remain on standby. They begin to shrink. A ship resting in calm harbor water feels safe, but standing still is when rust quietly weakens the hull. Unchosen comfort feels like arrival, but it is often the slow loss of your capacity to adapt. Let us examine where ease is quietly taking over and how to restore your sharpness before life demands it. When we think about threat in middle age, we usually picture something loud and sudden. We imagine a sudden market crash, an unexpected layoff, or a sudden health scare that turns our world upside down. But those visible storms are rarely what break a person's momentum. The far greater danger is much quieter and far more pleasant. It is the effortless ease that feels like victory while slowly dismantling your ability to adapt. When life stops challenging you and you stop challenging yourself, a subtle trade occurs. You exchange future flexibility for present convenience. Look at how this plays out in a typical career or household. In your late 20s or early 30s, every month demanded new skills. You stayed late, asked awkward questions, solved unfamiliar problems, and built mental toughness out of sheer necessity. But by 45, you have mastered your narrow corner of the world. You can perform your daily duties with half your mind asleep. The paycheck arrives on time, the mortgage is manageable, and the standard routines feel entirely comfortable. Yet while your physical circumstances appear stable, your internal capacity to handle surprise is shrinking from disuse, much like an unused muscle sitting in a soft armchair. We often blame our age or our busy schedules for this loss of sharpness. We tell ourselves that we have earned the right to coast, or that the world has simply become too complex to keep pace with every new shift. But circumstances do not dictate your internal capability. The same economic wind, the same technological shift, and the same passage of time blow on everyone in your field. It is our philosophical set of the sail that determines the course of our lives. To change our current direction, we have to change our philosophy, not our circumstances. If your underlying philosophy assumes that midlife is a finish line where you simply protect what you have already built, then any sudden shift in the weather will feel like a disaster. But if your philosophy views stability merely as a firm platform from which to seek new skills, then change becomes an invitation rather than a threat. Unchosen comfort without deliberate friction is never neutral. It is a slow, steady erosion of personal capability that leaves you vulnerable precisely when you believe you are most secure. The mistake is not in building a stable, prosperous life. You worked hard to establish order, and that order has genuine value. The mistake lies in confusing a well-earned harbor with a final destination. When you stop putting intentional weight on your mind and character, you do not preserve your strength, you surrender it. Self-respect demands that we keep our edge sharp, not for the sake of restless anxiety, but so that when the season changes, we are prepared to navigate whatever comes next. Imagine two colleagues who joined the same firm in their late 20s. Let us call them David and Robert. Both men possess steady talent, strong work ethics, and a sincere desire to support their families. By the time they reached their mid-40s, both had achieved the kind of stability most young professionals dream about. They earned comfortable incomes, managed predictable schedules, and commanded real respect within their department. The daily chaos of their earlier years had faded, replaced by an orderly life where every responsibility had a familiar slot on the calendar. It was at this precise moment of stability that their underlying philosophies began to diverge. David viewed his position as a completed building. He had paid his dues, mastered his duties, and earned the right to relax into a smooth, repeated pattern. When management introduced voluntary training seminars on new analytical software, David politely passed. He reasoned that his proven methods had worked for 15 years and would easily carry him to retirement. His daily routine became entirely frictionless. He performed his tasks efficiently, packed his briefcase at 5, and enjoyed restful evenings without a thought given to industry shifts. Robert looked at the very same comfortable environment and saw a subtle risk. He recognized that while his current workload was manageable, The world outside their office was not standing still. Rather than coasting on past accomplishments, Robert decided to introduce a small amount of deliberate friction into his week. Every Thursday evening, he spent 90 minutes studying the newer digital tools that were beginning to enter their sector. It was uncomfortable at first. He felt clumsy, slow, and often foolish, asking questions from younger colleagues who knew the systems inside out. Yet he persisted, treating the mental frustration as a necessary weight to keep his capacity strong. 5 years passed quietly. Then, the inevitable shift arrived. An external merger forced the firm to overhaul its entire operational framework within 3 months. The legacy systems David relied on were retired overnight. The contrast between the two men was immediate and stark. For David, the change felt like a hostile disaster. Tasks that once took him 20 minutes now required hours of painful struggle. He found himself staying late in an empty office, staring at complex software dashboards he could barely navigate, his stomach tied in knots. The confidence he had built over decades vanished, replaced by an unsettling fear that he had become obsolete. He was not a victim of bad luck or corporate cruelty. He was experiencing the sudden cost of 5 years of unchosen ease. Robert, on the other hand, met the transition with calm confidence. Because he had spent years practicing small, voluntary discomforts, the new systems were already familiar. While others panicked, he adapted quickly, guiding his teammates through the transition and earning a promotion to lead the modernized department. Late one night, sitting alone at his desk, surrounded by unanswered emails, David experienced a quiet moment of painful clarity. He realized that his struggle was not caused by the company's new policy, but by his own decision to let his tools rust in calm waters. When the story closes, a quiet pause will remain on this screen so you can examine where ease has quietly taken over your own routine. David's path forward required a heavy cost. He had to rebuild his skills under intense pressure and public scrutiny, learning in panic what he could have learned in peace. His choice had arrived late, but it was the only way back to true self-respect. You might look at a situation like David's and feel a natural hesitation. You might ask yourself, I have worked hard for 20 years to eliminate daily chaos and establish a quiet life. Why should I intentionally disrupt my peace when my calendar and energy are already stretched thin? That is an understandable objection. Nobody is suggesting that you tear down the orderly life you have built or invite reckless turmoil into your home. The goal is not to trade peace for constant anxiety. The goal is to distinguish between genuine rest that recharges your strength and passive comfort that slowly dismantles your mind. Real rest restores your capacity. Passive comfort erodes it. To protect your future adaptability, you must recognize the specific mechanisms that cause our sharpness to dull in middle age. The first mechanism is the habit of frictionless selection. This occurs when you default to the easiest, most familiar option in every daily decision. At work, it looks like passing on new assignments because they require learning a new process or adapting to a different team. At home, it looks like sticking only to familiar conversations, simple entertainment, and repetitive routines. The accumulated cost of this habit is subtle but heavy. Your mental stamina quietly shrinks. When an unexpected shift eventually forces you to face an unfamiliar problem, your default response becomes helplessness rather than curiosity. The practical replacement is to introduce one small piece of intentional friction into your routine every week. Choose one task that forces you to read a new manual, ask a colleague for guidance, or master an unfamiliar tool you have previously avoided. The second mechanism is relying on past capital. This happens when we assume that the skills, credentials, and accomplishments earned in our late 20s or 30s will forever secure our standing. We point to past achievements as evidence that we have already paid our dues and earned the right to remain stationary. But the world around us does not measure us by past value. It demands present usefulness. When you rely solely on past capital, your confidence turns into a quiet posture of defense. You begin to avoid fresh challenges because you fear looking inexperienced in front of younger peers. The practical replacement is to set aside 20 minutes each day for active learning. This does not mean casually reading headline summaries, but actively practicing a skill where you currently feel clumsy, deliberately maintaining the habit of being a beginner so your mind stays flexible. The third mechanism is misinterpreting ease as self-care. It is easy to label passive stagnation as healthy balance. convincing ourselves that avoiding difficult growth protects us from burnout. But true balance is not the complete absence of weight. It is the intentional distribution of effort. Shielding yourself from every discomfort does not preserve your resilience. It leaves you brittle. When you remove all constructive strain from your life, your tolerance for normal pressure drops until the smallest unexpected change feels like an overwhelming crisis. The practical replacement is to redefine self-care to include constructive stretch. True care for your future self means keeping your capability slightly larger than your daily requirements, ensuring that when the season shifts, you possess the reserves to adapt without panic. When you replace these three habits, you stop viewing comfort as a permanent reward for past effort. You begin to treat your current stability as a firm platform for continued strength rather than a soft chair for resting. You keep your mind sharp, your skills useful, and your character prepared for whatever lies ahead. Now, let us take a step back from David and Robert and look directly at your own life. You are likely sitting in a comfortable room, managing a schedule that mostly works, and handling responsibilities you have long since mastered. On the surface, everything appears solid and secure. Yet if you are honest with yourself, you can feel that quiet loss of edge. You know the exact places in your week where you have arranged your routine to avoid feeling clumsy, uninformed, or challenged. This is where we must run a practical capacity audit. It does not require dramatic life changes or turning your household upside down. Over the next 24 hours, examine 3 concrete areas of your daily routine: your primary work skills, your personal learning, and your physical endurance. Look closely for the specific places where you have replaced active effort with convenient shortcuts. Ask yourself when you last sat down with a problem that made you feel like a genuine beginner. If it has been a year or more since you last struggled through an unfamiliar task, that smooth predictability is not a badge of honor. It is a clear warning sign. Look carefully at your daily career. Is there a new analytical software program, a shifting regulatory standard, or an updated industry tool that you have quietly avoided because your old methods still generate a paycheck? Look at your personal habits. Have you traded serious books and deep study for passive entertainment simply because your mind feels tired after 5 o'clock? We often protect these comfortable pockets under the broad banner of earned rest, but protection soon turns into helpless reliance. When you systematically shield yourself from every small strain, you are quietly training your mind to treat any unexpected change as a crisis. You are facing a fundamental midlife choice, one that every responsible adult must eventually answer. You can choose to protect the soft ease that feels pleasant today, knowing full well that it lowers your capability for the coming decade. Or you can decide to reintroduce voluntary friction while you still have the peace and control to set the terms. Strengthening your position while the weather is clear is always far easier than trying to learn new survival skills in the middle of a storm. This audit is not about punishing yourself or abandoning the good life you worked so hard to establish. It is about honoring your future self and preserving your self-respect. In a few moments, as this voice falls silent, carry this single audit question into the stillness. Where are you currently protecting ease at the expense of your future adaptability? Hold that question clearly in your mind, but do not jump to quick excuses. Give yourself the honest space to name the exact area that carries the highest long-term risk. Think once more of that ship resting quietly in calm harbor water. The surface looks entirely peaceful, yet beneath the waterline, rust slowly weakens the hull simply because the ship remains motionless. Your middle years were never intended to be a final landing place where your hard-won capacity goes to rest. They are designed to be your most effective decade, supported by the practical judgment, maturity, and perspective you worked so hard to build over 20 years. But that accumulated wisdom only remains useful if you keep your daily skills tested and ready for open water. Comfort that costs you your future flexibility is far too expensive a price to pay for present convenience. Do not let this realization fade into a pleasant passing thought as you go about your evening. Within the next 24 hours, sit down with a pen and a clean sheet of paper to complete your capacity audit. Write down 3 distinct areas of your daily routine where passive comfort has quietly taken the place of active learning and intentional growth. Look closely at your primary professional skills, your personal reading and study habits, and your willingness to step into unfamiliar tasks. Examine all 3 honestly and select the single area that carries the highest long-term risk if you continue to protect your ease. Once you identify that area, make a clear commitment to yourself. Schedule one demanding, slightly uncomfortable task in that specific area for tomorrow morning and resolve to face it with steady focus. Restoring your sharpness does not demand a dramatic public announcement, an impulsive career change, or a chaotic overhaul of your household. It begins quietly with an honest personal audit and one deliberate choice to reintroduce constructive weight into your week. You already possess the maturity required to navigate whatever external shifts lie ahead, provided you choose to keep your mind active and flexible. As my voice falls silent now, a space of quiet music will remain on this screen. Carry your practical audit directly into that calm stillness and give yourself the time to consider your next move. 10 years from today, will you look back on this season as the quiet beginning of your decay, or the intentional moment you chose to tighten the sail once more?